Imagine this. You're in a dark room, a small, cramped space you've built for yourself, brick by brick, thought by thought. The air is thick with the dust of old memories. The walls are damp with the residue of past hurts. And the only sound is the low, constant hum of a story you've been telling yourself for years. The story of your pain. The story of your diagnosis. The story of your limitation. You've lived in this room for so long, you've forgotten what the sun feels like. This room is your reality. It feels absolute, unchangeable, the final word. But what if I told you that door isn't locked? It never was. What if I told you that the greatest prison you will ever live in is the one you've constructed in your own mind? For so long, I lived in that room. My body wasn't just a vessel. It was a testament to my suffering. Every ache was a chapter, every lab report a verdict, every morning a battle I was already losing before my feet even hit the floor. I was in a constant conversation with my sickness, rehearsing my symptoms, wearing my diagnosis like an identity. I was my back pain. I was my anxiety. I was my chronic fatigue. I had become so familiar with the person who was sick that the idea of being anyone else felt like a fairy tale. And then a whisper, a thought so quiet it was almost drowned out by the noise of my own suffering. What if my thoughts are not just fleeting events, but actual physical architects? What if every time I replay that memory of hurt, every time I worry about the future, I am literally chemically wiring my brain to keep me in that state of suffering? I was practicing being sick every single day with perfect, unconscious repetition. The breakthrough wasn't a pill. It wasn't a miracle cure from outside. The breakthrough was the terrifying, liberating realization that if I was the one who built the prison, then I could be the one to dismantle it. It started with a rebellion, a conscious, deliberate rebellion against my own automated thinking. The moment I woke up, instead of reaching for my phone and scanning for symptoms, I would lie still. I would refuse to give life to the old story. I would not get out of bed as the same person who went to sleep. That was the first commitment, to stop being the victim of my environment and to start being the creator of my future. This is where the REWIRE work begins. It's not positive thinking. It's a radical reprogramming. You have to understand that your body is the unconscious mind. It doesn't know the difference between the memory of a stressful event and the stressful event happening right now. Think about a past humiliation. Your heart races, your cheeks flush. Your body is living in that past moment as if it's present reality. So, if your body is living in the past, how can you possibly create a new future? You're just projecting the past forward, and your biology is confirming that reality. I had to break the addiction to my own emotional past. I had to stop being a slave to the familiar chemicals of stress, anxiety, and sadness. Those chemicals had become a habit. My body was craving the very states that were making me sick. So, I made a decision. I would no longer wait for something outside of me, a person, a pill, or event, to make me feel whole, or safe, or happy. I would generate those states from within. It happens in the space between thought and reaction. That tiny, powerful gap. When the old urge to worry arises, you don't feed it. You observe it. You make it strange. And then you choose a different thought. A thought of gratitude. A thought of possibility. You feel the feeling of being healed before the healing is manifest. You feel the feeling of being whole before the evidence appears. This is the secret. You have to become so immersed in the internal state of your future dream, the feeling of health, of vitality, of freedom, that your brain cannot tell. The difference between the inner world you are creating and the outer world you are experiencing. You are signaling new genes. You're producing new chemistry. You're literally rewiring your neural architecture to align with that future potential. You are no longer a prisoner of your past. You are a pioneer of your future. I would sit in silence, and I would consciously move my awareness from my thinking brain into the infinite field of energy that is my body. I would feel a space, a stillness behind the noise. And in that stillness, I would begin to manufacture a new emotion. Not just think it, but feel it. I would conjure the feeling of perfect health. What does it feel like to have boundless energy? I would feel it. a surge of vitality moving up my spine. What does it feel like to be completely free from pain? I would feel it. A warmth, a lightness, a deep cellular silence. I would bathe my cells in these new, elevated emotions: gratitude, joy, awe. I was no longer just thinking about being healed. I was being the energy of being healed. I was no longer waiting to be healed to feel happy. I was feeling happy to be healed. And then, the storm. The body, the old mind, the familiar program, they don't give up without a fight. There were days the pain fell sharper. Days the old thoughts screamed louder. Days it felt easier to just go back to the familiar misery. This is the critical moment. This is where most people turn back. They mistake this turbulence for failure. But it's not failure. It's the old program, the old chemical identity, fighting for its life. It's the death rattle of the past. And you have to stand firm in your new state. You have to love the pain, bless the discomfort, and know that it is a sign that you are changing. You are literally breaking the chains of your former self. And one morning, you wake up, and the first thought isn't a scan for pain. It's a quiet curiosity. You get out of bed, and you move through your day, and you realize something is different. The heavy blanket of fatigue is gone. The sharp edge of pain has softened, then vanished. The mental fog has lifted. The world looks brighter, sound are clearer. It's not a dramatic Hollywood moment. It's a quiet, profound knowing that settles deep within your bones. You look in the mirror, and you don't see the sick person anymore. You see a creator. You see someone who has walked through the fire of their own mind and emerged, transformed. The body follows the mind. Always. It has no other choice. When you change your energy, you change your life. When you change your state of being, you change your biology. The symptoms that once defined you begin to lose their authority because you're no longer feeding them with your attention and your energy. You have stopped living in the past, and you have started creating a new future from the present moment. So I stand here today, not as a survivor, but as a new creation. The old me, the one who was defined by sickness, no longer exists. I am not in remission. I am not managing my condition. I am not coping. I am healed. And this healing wasn't a destination I arrived at. It is a state of being I choose, moment by moment, thought by thought, feeling by feeling. It is my new normal. It is my new identity. And if I can step out of that dark room, I promise you, with every cell in my being, so can you. The door is not locked. All you have to do is decide to turn the handle.